Okay, so this is a tarot reading about the mysterious circumstances surrounding the death of one Dr. Rashid Buttar. Dr. Rashid Buttar was a doctor who spoke out against the COVID vaccines during the COVID pandemic. He lived in Tutakaka in New Zealand and then moved back to Colorado during the pandemic. He was interviewed by CNN and slammed for his views. The interviewer said in that interview, "I think you're crazy." He compared Dr. Fauci to Adolf Hitler in the interview. He claimed in a video that surfaced very recently, I think that he had been, after that interview, which looks like it was about a year ago, that he'd been poisoned with a load of 200 times the COVID vaccine. So that he'd somehow ingested 200 times the COVID vaccine into his system, and that he would never, under any circumstances, take the vaccine, and that he suggested that after the CNN interview, he was poisoned. It's said that he spent some time in hospital, according to accounts, according to what he said, I believe. And then he popped up, in this video and promptly died within a day of the interview being posted, in which he claimed that he'd been poisoned. He'd also said previously in another video, I think, that he, if he ever died of, it would be of suspicious circumstances, that he was full of life, loved life, was not depressed, and that he felt like potentially people would go after him for speaking his truth as such. He's known for some alternative therapies like chelation therapy, which is for removing toxic metals, hydrogen peroxide for use on cancer patients. Now, I'm not going to weigh in on that, but I, funnily enough, met a neighbour of mine when I was living in Mount Wellington who was a cancer patient and was taking hydrogen peroxide, and he claimed that it was working for him. I don't really know. It seemed to me at the time a bit weird, because I thought that hydrogen peroxide was some kind of bleach. And I know there was that big furore over Donald Trump talking about hydrogen peroxide, but my neighbour, when he expressed it, talked about how this was hydrogen peroxide in its purest form, unprocessed, so it was somehow untainted, and that it was cleaning his blood, or something to that effect. So I'm not going to weigh in on that. Don't know much about it. Anyway, what is the character of Dr. Rashid Buttar? Four of Wands reversed. Someone not committed to the establishment model, non-traditional perhaps, not someone not in a relationship, a loner in a sense, perhaps. Being reversed, it's kind of the opposite of marriage. Someone who's divorced themselves from the establishment, being this building, maybe. That's what I'm picking up from that card, potentially. How did Dr. Rashid die? Victory at all costs. He was the victim of victory at all costs mentality. He was, it suggested he was collateral damage in somebody's notion of victory at all costs, perhaps. Given that the card is upside down, it suggests that perhaps he was the victim of that. Or was the on the back end of a victory or costs mentality, or was it that cost him his life, his own victory at all costs mentality, that he pursued his ideas to the utmost and it bit him in the back? It could be another interpretation. Let's have another card as to how did he die. Five of Cups reversed. I mean, there's 3 cups lying on the ground with fluid coming out of them, and 2 cups standing. The card is upside down, suggesting, I mean, this card's normally about disappointment and letting go, but is it suggesting that the card's upside down, that these happened through unnatural circumstances, that there was poison involved, as he suggests? Interesting card to come up. You can see the toxic fluid in the cups there. So did he drink some poison and as a result become sick? Potentially. What other questions can we ask? What were the energies surrounding the CNN interview? The sun in reverse. To me, that suggests an attempt to block out the sun being the light. So kind of shutting down of the sun, that the motive behind CNN interviewing him was to kind of, discredit truths potentially that were being revealed. That's just my perspective. Of course, it's open to interpretation. It says actually on to give CNN a bit more credit, possibly, and see it from their point of view. They suggested that they needed to bring him on the air. Why would they bring him on the air when he was spreading disinformation? To pull him apart, basically, and show people that he was dangerous and therefore that they shouldn't follow him. So you could see from their point of view that it could be that they were exposing his false light, potentially. Don't know. Let's have another look. More about the character of Dr. Rashid Buttar, please. The tower in reverse. Is there a notion that things were falling apart at the seams, but it's in reverse? Is there a notion that he's coming out of things? He was coming out of that. The opposite of a tower falling apart in reverse. So maybe he's leaving the tower, which is the pharmaceutical industry or the industry that he's involved with, and he's been a part of that. Maybe he's leaving the tower, that he's actually, he's coming out of the tower, as in leaving a sinking ship by telling his truth, potentially. Hard to really get a gauge on this. Was he murdered? Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Was there a hand, something to do with money, involved in his death? Did he kill himself? That suggests that he was not going to calmer waters. It's upside down. Normally that would suggest rowing to calmer waters and to more health, and 6 is a card of harmony. But this upside down suggests disharmony, that he was going out of calmer waters, that there was a lot of worry around. I haven't got much time left in this video because my phone doesn't have much space on it. So did he die of COVID, as the mainstream media suggests? The Hermit upside down. Loneliness, perhaps. False wisdom, false information. False. I mean, the Hermit sheds a light on things, wise, but it's upside down, suggesting maybe that was as a false shedding of light. It's not really the truth. Hard to know. Let's have a look finally at the energy surrounding his death. There's a sense of being out of sorts, ungrounded, loss of money, out of heart and mind, unbalanced, unhinged. Yeah. Final comment surrounding his death. death in reverse, which to me suggests a death of unnatural causes.